Hi, friends. Welcome back to another TechSoup Connect Canada chapter meeting. This is where nonprofits who are technically curious get together to learn, gossip, hang out. And so what we've got today is a follow-up on an event we did last month on what's going on in the land of AI. Things are happening fast. So I'm really excited that Deepa's put together a couple interesting demos showing how you can take the things you've already probably created once and repurpose it using all these new interesting tools. So with that, I'm going to get out of the way and give the stage to Deepa, who's going to blow your minds.
Hi, everyone. So this is AI in action. So everything I'm going to do today is going to be basically showing live demos of how you can use AI in your day-to-day operations at your nonprofit or your social impact organization. I've been using AI since 2022. When I was in deep trouble, I needed a visual designer and I didn't have access to one. So I used MidJourney, which is a text-to-image model. I'll explain all these technical terms. But basically what you do is you just describe in words what image you are looking for, like the way you would describe an artist that I want, say, for instance, a whale flying, and this should be the backdrop and stuff like that. And the AI just creates that image in like seconds. So it's pretty amazing. And I've been a power user of AI since then and have also founded an AI startup, which is to help nonprofits unlock grant funding. So I'm currently the founder of GrantOrb.com, which is an AI designed specifically to unlock grant funding. It manages the entire grant process from having AI that goes on the internet and searches actively for grants and then find grants that are highly relevant to your mission, creates templates so you can, or grant application forms on GrantOrb so you can write it down in minutes using AI. And so it's the entire workflow designed for winning grants. And a lot of frontline organizations are using a product and are winning grants. My goal from the beginning was to empower frontline organizations because they're so deep doing their work that grant writing is a very time-consuming task. So how can we free up their time? So that was the whole idea behind it. Previously, I've co-founded United Way Mumbai. So I've done a lot of fundraising. I've also worked with Salesforce Foundation. I was their lead in Asia Pacific, managing philanthropy, giving out technology to nonprofits. So I've been on the other side of grant making too. I also worked as a fundraiser for an international organization working on sanitation in Singapore, and have raised millions in funding from top foundations, including Rockefeller, Ford Foundation, Salesforce, Citi, Filecoin, Unilever, Government of Singapore. So these are just few of the names there. So today, as I said, this is going to be AI in action workshop. So everything, I'm going to show you live everything, how I use AI in my day-to-day life, because as an AI first startup, my engineers have really built in my AI muscle. Like I think I would really give them the credit for making me very AI first, because initially I almost gave up on ChatGPT when it first came out. I was like, okay, it's not really giving me the results that I am looking for, or it changes my writing completely. So I'm not going to be using AI at all. And they were like, no, you got to go back and make these chatbots your first go-to person. You're not coming to us for anything, any technical things. Also, if you want to figure out how to do, say, email marketing, go to the chatbot and figure it out. So it's just a small team. So I have 2 engineers and AI engineers, and it's me. And so I end up doing a lot of stuff, from creating graphics, commercials for GrantOrb, creating product videos, creating email marketing, everything that goes into running an organization. And I'm completely 100% powered by AI. So I get all my work done in literally seconds. So I would really credit my engineers for building my AI muscle. And I've created music too. Like, I've turned my blog posts into beautiful songs that you can listen to and dance to. I've created anthems for GrantOrb, just communicating the value proposition in a different way. Because AI gives us this ability to now do almost everything. Like, I'm also making videos and making images and making music and doing 100 other things just using AI. So today I'm going to show you some of my top use cases, and it's really easy, trust me. But I think what's important is to start building your AI muscle, which is like a habit, because it's like a really a habit change, right? We didn't have AI before, and today we have AI. So to be able to go from not using AI to using AI, it's like a constant reminder to yourself every day in the morning, I'm going to be using AI. Even if it causes a bit of inconvenience in the beginning, because you have to do a bit of transfer knowledge to AI, it can't read your mind. You still have to communicate as if it's your intern, and you have to still communicate the knowledge. But bear with it for the first week, and you'll see the results after that are just astonishing. Your everything will get done in seconds. So these are some of the things we're going to touch upon. I forgot to put website, but website messaging is also very important because that's our first touch point since we all operate. Even if though we have like physical communities where people find us online and they donate online or they volunteer with us online, website is a very important first point of contact. How do you like enhance your messaging? So we're going to talk about that as well a little bit. And before I dive into the demos, I just wanted to say GrantOrb is, I know there are chatbots, but chatbots can't do long form work. You have to build systems, AI systems that are designed for specific tasks. And so GrantOrb is 100% exclusively designed for grants. And we have like multiple small AIs working together to help you win grants, right from finding grants for you. So while you're sleeping, you can just enable like a grant AI scout, like who goes on the internet scouting for grant opportunities for you. And then it'll keep sending you like, these are all the relevant opportunities for your mission or where you work. And then are you interested in it? And it creates grant forums so you can write it out. Writing it out is as simple as this. Just briefly describe your idea. Here I've said, we want to create a solar punk narrative using AI. We are a global group of committed people excited to use AI to spread positivity, need 100K for advocacy, and just say create an outline. AI creates an outline. You review it. If you like it, go ahead and say generate the proposal. So it's as simple as that. So your role gets elevated. You're not the doer anymore. When it comes to using AI, you're like the director. You're like, your role is that of an editor. And so everybody gets a promotion once they start using AI because you don't have to do the actual work. You just have to manage the work of AI. So that's my little introduction. Let's dive in. Let's start with video understanding. This is Gemini. And Gemini just dropped a new model today, which is called Gemini 3. Okay. So yeah. So if you see, this is thinking through complex topics with 3 pros. So this just came out today at 9 a.m. PST. It didn't exist till yesterday. It's one of they're like the most high-end model, even beats ChatGPT. And so this is Gemini. And this is a thinking model. So what it means is basically that when you enable, like you can choose between fast and thinking. I think ChatGPT, I don't know which models y'all are using currently because there are so many different ones in the market. ChatGPT was the very first one to come out. But since ChatGPT, there are so many other great models that are either at par with ChatGPT or better than ChatGPT. And Gemini is like one of my go-to models because I feel like I can get so much done with Gemini. So whenever you're using models, I think in ChatGPT, you don't have an option to select. I'm not a current subscriber, so I'm not sure what their current system is. But in other models, you can actually select, like in Claude or Gemini, between thinking models or like just quick Q&A. So when it's a thinking model means these models have so much data inside, like it's trained on all of world's knowledge, that when you enable a thinking model, the model doesn't quickly spit out answers. It takes time to think through and go deeper into its knowledge base and then come up with responses for you. So it's great for like strategic thinking or any complex task that you're trying to achieve. But say, suppose you want to just get a quick answer. What's the capital of, I'll just say Canada. The model doesn't need to think deeply about it. It's so factual. So for those kind of things, you can use like the fast model. But whenever you're doing more complex tasks, always go for thinking. And these are different things that you can do. And almost all the other models except Claude offers more or less the same stuff. Like Claude doesn't have image generation. So if you're using Claude, it's a different chatbot. They don't have image generation, but Grok has it, Gemini has it, ChatGPT has it. Just the display will be different, how they display that. Deep research, almost all models have it. And this is so good for nonprofits because say you're working on, say, food insecurity, and you want to deeply understand your cause in Canada, for instance, or wherever you are based, you can just go very deep with understanding your cause, and you can do like a deep research. Say, if you want, I can show you this, but let's move on to what I intended to show you, which is basically how you can use Gemini's video understanding. So currently only Gemini offers this, and I think Grok very soon is going to be offering that. But ChatGPT doesn't have Grok video understanding, neither does Claude. So I'm going to just grab a link of a video that it's my last workshop or one of the workshops that I did with TechSoup. So I'm going to just paste the link of my video here. This is on YouTube. I just pasted the link. And I'm going to ask Gemini, what are the key points discussed in this video? And it's basically what the AI is doing. It is actually seeing through the entire video in seconds. This must be like 50 minutes long video. This I did for TechSoup members. And this is like a good 50 to 60 minutes long video. And it's going through like everything. And it's going to give me the key takeaways. The video features Deepa, founder of GrantOrb. Here are the key points discussed in the video: the power of generative AI for nonprofits, landscape of AI visual tools. These are all key techniques for better results. So basically, it's literally read the video in like a few seconds and gave me the key takeaways. I'm going to now say, can you extract some, say, can you extract, I can be more specific, 7 hard-hitting quotes from this. And these are all the things very handy because once everybody's creating video content these days, right? So here are the 7 hard-hitting quotes from the video. And this is basically me talking. I didn't even know Photoshop. I can't even draw a straight line. And this has been my biggest constraint my entire nonprofit life. I'm so glad that AI exists. So say, for instance, these are things that you can repurpose on your social media, on your website. Like if it's a video about your founder or an executive director or somebody from the community talking about the benefits of your service, and there's a video about it, you could just put a link in it, ask it to summarize it, find the key points, put it out as a blog post, extract the quotes, put it out on social media, put it on your website. Like these are the things that you don't need to sit and watch the video yourself. AI can watch it for you and answer all these questions for you. So there's another one. Think of it on how generative AI works. Think of it as a zip file of the internet because they have so much knowledge, they can mix information and create new things. So generative AI is basically equivalent to a human brain, just like how we gain experience through different ways, through education and through like practical knowledge. And then we can mix concepts and create new things with that. The computer brain has been trained on all of humanity's data, which is available on the open internet. And it is just like a human brain. It can mix information and create new things. So it's very good for idea generation. Amazing. On the power of storytelling for funding. As change makers, we have great stories to tell, but we've always lacked the tools to tell those stories. And stories move people. They inspire people to give. So now we can actually tell really great stories using AI because it enables us to create videos. It enables us to create images. It enables us to extract quotes because quotes itself, they're so powerful in telling stories. So another quote, I'll just read out some such great quotes. The more I use my creative brain to use AI, the more I get out of it. Really, the possibilities are endless. Anyway, so this is one. And then I can say, can you write me a blog post, make it quote, can you write me a blog post about this video and quote Deepa, or because you want the natural voice to come out, you can just say quote the person the way they spoke. And you can also put like a limit. You can say, I want like a 750 words blog post. If you be specific, I think the more specific you are, the better outcome you're going to get because AI tends to be really verbose. If you don't specify like the limits, then it can sometimes go on. So even for like small things, you can say, explain this to me in 1 line or in 5 lines, or tell me the summary of it, or write this thing for me in X number of words. So how generative AI is democratizing visual storytelling for nonprofits. And it's written like a whole blog post for me. my goal is to read it, or if I want to add more stuff, add more details to it, or if you want to, because I didn't specify the word limit, it came up with this, but if I had specified the word limit, it would have written like 600 words or up to 750 words or whatever I had mentioned. These are some of the things you can do. There's something else that I want to show you, and I'll open a new chat. So every time you're like interacting with AI and say you're interacting with AI on a certain subject, like for instance, this is the entire conversation here that took place is around this particular video link. But I want to show you something totally different. And for that, it's best to open a new chat window because the AI then gets confused since the context changes. So it's like keeping things in your memory. And so right now, this is in the memory of AI, and I can continue this conversation with AI on this particular YouTube link as much as I want. I can ask them to probably create like 10 bullet points or whatever I want, or create like a brief introduction for my, if I'm including this video in a newsletter, just briefly introduce this topic. And so it can like briefly create like 5 lines introducing the video, which you can then include it in your newsletter. So you don't have to do the work. But now that I want to move on to showing you something different, I'm going to just open a new chat and let me just upload something that so this is, I have a very active blog on LinkedIn where I write about AI for nonprofits. And so what I really do is that there's so much AI news coming out almost every day that I don't go with my subscribers. I basically synthesize all that news and then share it as articles or things that they can do with AI. Because I use AI literally morning to night, like I'm chatting with AI or using different AI tools. So this is my blog post on LinkedIn. It's called AI for Nonprofits. And I must have written like maybe 40 plus articles till now. I started this like last year. So this is another creative way to use your content. So say, for instance, you are a nonprofit organization and you have you write articles basically on your website. And now you want to repurpose them because you put in so much effort. There's no point just writing for once and then forgetting about it. You want to really repurpose your content in 100 different ways, literally, because you do put in effort, right? Even when you're using AI, you're still putting in your thought process behind it. Ideating takes time. Doing doesn't take time anymore, but ideating takes time. So what I did is basically I just took like a video screenshot of all the articles that I've written, and I want to tell AI that this is my blog series, and I want to create master guide on how nonprofits can use AI based on this content. And you categorize them in 5 broad topics. Because I've written about so many different subjects under AI, like how just within AI, I've written about AI in agriculture, or actually spelling mistakes doesn't matter, but this is my old habit of still correcting spellings, but let's just go with this. So I'll read through this, all the articles that I've written. I've basically taken a video screenshot of it. And now I want to bundle them up in a different way. And then maybe I want to write an article on my AI for nonprofits, your big fat guide, or something like that. And then, but because I've written on so many topics, maybe I want to categorize them neatly under AI tools, or let's see what the AI comes up with. But the topics are really diverse. Okay, so it's basically based on this. I want to, so it's come up with these 5 ways I can probably categorize my content, like all the content that I produce around AI for nonprofits. This is what it's suggesting, that these are the 5 different ways I can categorize it: the creative studio, storytelling and visuals, operational efficiency, doing more with less. And it's also listed what blog posts should go under each of these categories. So I don't even have to do that work. But say I'm not happy with these titles, I can say, think like a reader, and simplify these titles. And you should mention my audience is more like whoever your audience is. If you give that kind of context, then AI understands it better, that who is it aimed at, and then it would probably give you better output. So these are the things that you learn when you start using AI every day, because no matter how much I tell you, this stuff only comes through practice. The more you use, the better you become. So think like a reader and simplify these titles. My audience is primarily change makers. how can they digest all this information? Give me 5 categories, subcategorize. And I'll just go back here and just do this. So this the one good thing I really like about AI is that you can make spelling mistakes, and or you don't have to worry about punctuations, capitalization, all of those stuff, grammar. It's okay if you make grammatical mistakes. AI understands you really well. So to think like a reader, specifically a busy change maker who's really overwhelmed, unlocking. So it's suggested more easy titles. Like I felt like these were more academic titles, and I wasn't happy with it. It suggested more easy titles like unlocking funding, visual storytelling on a budget, reclaiming time, scaling impact and reach, future-proofing the mission, and it's told me what blog posts should I include under each of these. And now based on that, I can even ask Gemini further, could you now write me an intro to the blog post, my big fat guide to AI for nonprofits. So basically, through chat, I'm just getting all my work done. I'm not doing anything myself. So this is basically, just to give you an example of how you can, you really, through conversation, get almost all your work done. And you don't have to type. Like what I've heard is Gemini 3 is really great with conversational ability. So you can even talk to it and it will still do the work. And you can just use Gemini voice and it'll get the work done for you. Basically, yeah. And then this is just an intro. And then you can list these categories and put the blog post. So this is like one big fat guide, which I've actually created, and it exists on my blog because I'd written so much around AI for nonprofits that I wanted to neatly categorize them in terms of the AI tools, AI for marketing, AI for fundraising. And I actually used Gemini video understanding to create that blog. So that's one example. Now that we are on Gemini, let's just use like website messaging, since websites are so key to our existence on the internet, and copy, like your messaging should be so clear. I'm going to just, Eli, is it okay if I grab TechSoup's home screen?
Go for it.
There are a number of ways to basically hone the message on your website. One is that if you like somebody else's website, say you are in love with Charity Waters website, for instance, because some nonprofits they do spend a lot of, I think, thinking power in terms of honing their website messaging. That for instance, when I was in the nonprofit space, there were a lot of nonprofits whose websites I admired because I just loved the way they communicated their cause. And so I wanted to copy their messaging style. So either you can take a screenshot of your favorite nonprofit, it doesn't have to be nonprofit. If there's a corporate or any other website that exists on the internet that you really like the way they present themselves in terms of the color, in terms of the messaging, you can actually take a screenshot of their website and say, can you adapt my messaging or my look and feel to look like that website? And what Gemini will do is it'll create the code for you in real time, and you can visually see it, how that's going to look, and you can make changes real time. And once you're happy with the look and feel and the copy, then you can probably pass it on to whoever maintains your website, and they can make those changes. You can even use Gemini to make website changes, but it'll get a bit more technical, so I won't go into that. So I'm going to just take so I'll just say this is TechSoup hero section, which is basically above the fold. The first thing that people see, hero section, can you make this more impactful? And I bet Gemini should already know about TechSoup because TechSoup is such a, an institution that Gemini should know about it. So this is TechSoup hero section. Can you make this more impactful in terms of communicating their value prop? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use in tools, there's something called Canvas. Click on that. And so Claude, if you're using Claude as a chatbot, they also have Canvas. ChatGPT also has Canvas. So basically what it does is generates code. And when it generates code, then you can then visually see the output. So I'm just going to click on this and I'm going to go like this. Let's see what it comes up with. I even made a mistake in terms of communication, the value prop. I should have said in terms of communicating the value prop. But as I said, AI understands understands your intent. But yeah, be specific in terms of what. So it's generating all this code, as you can see. So this is, can you see the redesign? This is the preview. And so it's redesigned this. It's given like a headline, a sub-headline. This is the hero section, which is basically above the fold, the first thing that people see. And it's communicated the value prop. We partner with brands like Microsoft, Adobe, and Google to donate and discount the technology we need to change the world. Browse the catalog, get started, top tier tech, bottom tier prices. Say you want to change colors or you want to change something. All you got to do is chat right here. And in real time, it'll like the code, basically this is where the code is. This is the preview. You can even share this. Actually, if you want to say somebody else is maintaining your website, for instance, you can even take a link of this, copy the link copied, and just share it with that person. The person will be able to see it. You can design your whole website like this. I didn't even give any reference screenshot of any other website, but say, as I said, if you like a particular website and you want the look and feel or the colors or the messaging to be more like that, or say, for instance, there's a branding guru that you really like, you want his style to be adopted, you can mention all of that in the prompt, and it'll make it more like in tune with their branding ethos. This is just another way to use Gemini. Let's go back, and I'm going to show you something else. I basically did recently, actually, I would love to show this video to you because I created this video in 30 minutes. It's to basically show the impact of fast fashion. Fast fashion is actually the second most polluting industry. And there are like 48 seasons or something. So what I did is I used Gemini to do a deep research on fast fashion. And that's what I'm trying to find where it is. Maybe it's this one. So I did a whole deep research on it. Yeah. So as I said, like this is deep research. Can you see this? So give me the environmental impact of fast fashion. Tell me the most polluting fashion brands. And when you click deep, so always remember to click, because sometimes what happens, you forget to click. So if I'm trying to create an image and I don't say, I think they should make chatbots to be more intuitive, like they should know what you're trying to do. But right now you need to click those options. So say you want to create an image and you forgot to click on create an image, then it won't create an image. Or for instance, you want to do deep research, but you don't click on deep research, then it won't do deep research. So always click on the options or the tools that they have, because these are the different tools that chatbots have. So here it says, I said, so basically I clicked on deep research and I did this. It creates a plan for you. So before it goes and searches, it's basically Google search, but it does the whole damn search of the internet, along with the knowledge that it contains, the large language model knowledge is contained, to create like a really rich report for you on fast fashion or any other topic that you want to research. And it does it so in like less than 3 minutes, which is crazy powerful, I would say. But before it does that, it creates a plan for you. So you need to basically approve the plan. This is what it's going to do. This is what it's going to do. Make any changes you want. Edit this is the current plan. What changes do you want to make? Also name the most polluting brand. So that was the only thing I said it was missing. So I got that added in the plan. And I did the research. It's the whole research here. I said generate audio overview. So what you can do is, now that you've generated this big document, for instance, and you don't want to read it, it's too long, you don't have time, what you can do is you can ask Gemini to, actually you can create infographics, which is amazing. You can create flashcards. Like if, say, for instance, you are in the community teaching, say something, I don't know, like maybe you're teaching storytelling to other smaller community organizations. You can create a detailed research-backed report on storytelling. And or say you have a curriculum on something and you want to now create flashcards, or you want to create quizzes to just ensure that the knowledge transfer has taken place. It's just a matter of just clicking all of this. Like it'll just create it for you. It can even create infographics. I'm just going to wait for it to do that. But you can also convert it into a podcast. So the audio overview basically means you can click one of the options and say, turn this entire report into an audio file that I can listen to instead of reading. And then you can, after you've listened to that entire research report, then you can ask more specific questions. it gets easy that way. So my learning, the way I learn has flipped since AI. What I do is I create these deep research on different subjects, and then I listen to it. And after listening, I ask more specific questions around it. So recently, like there was a law passed in the United States around stablecoins, which is like a Genius Act. And I wanted to really understand that law. I just downloaded the PDF from the White House website, put it into, there's another service by Gemini called Notebook LM, or you can upload it here, convert it into an audio file, listen to it, and then ask very specific questions around that topic. So it just makes, it flips the way learning is done. For instance, this has created these flip cards, textile waste generation. So I can go back here. I think I also said, so these are all the things. Where's my report gone? Oh, this is the audio file. So let's
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into fast fashion. Now, you might think you know the environmental side, but the sources we've looked at are pretty staggering global cost. Seems much deeper than most of us realize.
Exactly. And our goal today is really to pull out the key insights from the research to help you understand why the basic business model itself is almost designed for environmental damage. You need to see the scale of it and, who the big players are.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The core idea, it seems, is this complete shift in how the industry works.
Yeah.
Instead of maybe 2 or 4
I love how those notebook ML voices like add a little bit of pauses and ums that really make it very listenable.
Yes, it makes it very engaging. And now you can set the limit as well. Like you want it like 2 minutes long, or you want it more extended. And this is really handy even for, say, you have say onboarding guides for volunteers, or say you run a food bank and you've got like lots of volunteers interacting with you, and you have these guidelines, but you want them to listen, you want them to read, but you know how many people read? Like nobody reads these days. So you can turn it into an audio, like a podcast that can be on your website, or you can email it to them, and then they can just quickly listen to it. You can mention you want it like micro or more extended, and they can listen to it. They can listen to it on the bus, on the go, like they don't have to read. So again, like for employee onboarding, volunteers onboarding, or any other, say you created you can do like a deep research on your own cause, like food insecurity in, say, Vancouver. You can get down to those, that's being that specific, and then put that out as a blog post. That's another piece of content that you just created, like around, like people can listen to it now. Or you can even put it up on your website. These are different ways to communicate your cause. Like we don't have to stick to the traditional ways. And so once I did this deep research, I actually went and created like this whole video because now I had this clarity. I went and created an AI video, which I want to show it to you because it's super cool. And this will give you ideas about the things that you can do after you do a deep research on a topic.
Excellent. And this may well feed in from a great comment we have here from Adrian in the chat, who's saying, I'm waiting for Gemini to be able to record our voice. Then we can use our voice as a podcast or clips for a website or do voiceovers. And I suspect what you're about to show us may include some of those kind of capabilities.
Actually, HeyGen is a service that does that. So for instance, I have done a lot of product videos where I didn't want it to actually be live recording myself and showing my product, because post-editing is so much work. So I use this service called HeyGen, where you can send your voice sample, like a little bit of your talk for 3 minutes or something, and then they clone your voice. And after they clone your voice, you can then just use type, like you can just type the exact words you want to speak, and it converts the text into audio. And either it can animate a still image of yours, or if you've given them a little video of yours, then it'll animate your video. But there's a perfect lip sync that happens, and I can show you that as well. By the way, before I get started, I want to tell you there are lots of inspirations that I use from different places. Like I love Madonna's song on I'm a Material Girl, so I wanted like that look and feel of it. I did the deep research already on fast fashion, so I had the statistics. And there's another movie I've seen called Warlords, where it is basically around the war economy and how much money goes into the war economy. And I wanted to use one particular concept from that to showcase like the impact of fast fashion. And all these images that you see, I've used MidJourney to create it. And then I've animated it either using MidJourney or Grok. There's another service. And then I just stitched them all together. The music I created for it, 100% AI music. I used a service called Suno. So I stitched the animation and the music together. So I've used like 5 different types of AIs for this. So let's get started from the very beginning.
Living in a consumer world, I'm a consumer girl. Can't stop shopping, 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 even though the world keeps dropping. Know the cost, but I can't stop. Buy until the planet drops. Click, ship, trash, repeat. Click, ship, trash, repeat. One day shipping at my door. Always need a little more. Living in a consumer world, I'm a consumer girl. Can't stop shopping, shopping, shopping. Even living in a consumer world.
So this is basically the idea from Warlords, where it actually shows the war economy by just pointing out at every object and saying this must cost this much and this much. So I wanted to show like how much microplastics, how much water goes in. And these are all the stats that I derived from the deep research. So I didn't have to like spend time deriving those stats. And I use Gemini has this thing, the image creation model in Gemini is very good. I literally gave this image and I told them to add these data points like this, and it did it for me. So basically, these are some fun side projects I keep doing, but let me show you about HeyGen because I make product videos too. Just wanted to like, all my videos gone. Oh, these are some of the ads I've made, which I can show. Maybe I can show this fun ad.
We need a dog park. Time to use GrantOrb.
Yeah, I've made so many commercials, again, using Gemini. It's very easy. Once you have an idea, like what is it that you want to communicate, you can just use Gemini to draft the prompt as well. And it includes the audio, the music, and the scene all together in one prompt, and you can create a video. And if you want, I can show that live today. But say, for instance, this is me talking.
Write grant reports in minutes.
So basically, I literally took my static image and I used a service called HeyGen. And I wanted to, demonstrate my product, all the different things that GrantOrb can do for you. And I think I used like almost a year ago, and the voice cloning wasn't the best. So it gets my accent, but not totally 100%. But today, if I submit my voice, I'll definitely match it. But this is literally, I type the text, and it's so good because you can be very precise. You don't have to do any post-editing, and you don't have to be in front of the camera all the time. Like you can just take your best image and animate it.
With GrantOrb, the state-of-the-art AI grant writer. Grant reports that impress. Click on Create a Grant. Select the grant report from the drop-down menu in the Grant Wizard. Use the Grant Wizard to enter project.
Yeah, what I did is I took different screenshots of the product, my product basically that I wanted to display. I took my image and I basically just typed it out, and it converted my text into speech. Animate like this perfect, like this lip sync is pretty impressive, I would say, because
alter project notes.
it like matches with the audio. So it feels very natural. And as I said, like this I recorded like almost a year ago, more than a year ago. So if today I go back to HeyGen, they'll definitely match my accent. So yeah, let's go back to doing more live stuff. I wanted to show you, let me go to MidJourney. So yeah, Gemini also has creating image, and I'm not sure, maybe if in the chatbot you can put what are the different tools y'all are using, then I can, or what is your go-to chatbot, then I can maybe share more of that stuff. But I use MidJourney a lot, like these are all different things that I've made. And I create things for not just always for, though I'm like a social entrepreneur and nonprofit person, but now that I have these abilities, I'll try to communicate things different things that I want to communicate. Actually, one of my artwork got featured by MidJourney. So MidJourney came out in 2022, even before ChatGPT. And what I really like about them is they go to explore page. So this is so easy to create like really high quality images for your cause. So they have 3 options. If you go here, like there's images. So these are all the images. If you like, these are all the different images, but I'm wondering which ones. Okay. Go like here, hot images or top day. So actually one of my artworks got featured in the top day under the videos section, which I was very surprised because they don't generally just take any artwork to feature. But this is like the curated list of the top art for the day. And so these are all like video animation here. These are all the images, and these are style references. So a lot of artists are actually using MidJourney to create like different styles. And if you like, say, a particular style, say you like this color combination, for instance, you like this pink and the sea green, or say you like the way this cartoon has been drawn, it looks very hand-drawn. Say if you like something, what I generally do is I first just bookmark it by just liking it. So it appears under my bookmarks. And later I can use it to recreate the exact style. And so this is very powerful. And this is literally a no-brainer way of creating high quality, great images for your cause or for your website, for instance. So these are like all the images. These are the videos. And I do the same. Sometimes I just spend 15 minutes scrolling and just liking stuff that I can reuse later. For instance, let's like something. And say you don't like anything here, but you want to create ocean conservation. Let's see what comes up. You can even search by tags and something. Say your cause is that, and you want to show something related to it. How about this? Like this plastic. Oh, sorry, where did it go? And you want to recreate this. You like it, you want to recreate it. All you do is click on this, becomes the prompt, and you just say summit. And it goes here. And it creates four visuals. So you can pick whichever one you like. And I have the lowest plan actually. The lowest plan means you can create like 50 media pieces a month, which is more than enough. Like you don't need that much. But because I'm experimenting so much, I end up consuming my plan always. So for instance, this is one, this is another one. And say now I want to animate this. I want to show like a moving visual on my website. My cause is about ocean conservation. So what I can simply do is, I want to go back here. I will just do, you can animate it manually. So what I will do is I can also take this image and I can put it in Gemini. And I can say, if I want a very specific movement, I will ask Gemini to give me a prompt for that. But say I don't want, and I wanted to like just animate this. I don't want to think too much. I just want to animate it. I can do auto animation and I can go, let's just go low motion. So what it's doing now is it's animating this. So this will be like a moving visual now. So MidJourney is one. I use MidJourney a lot. I use VO3, which is inside Gemini, to create commercials. So the commercials that you saw, the dog one was basically using VO3. I included like the scene description, the dialogue in one prompt and just created it. And sometimes you don't get it right in the first go. So it's all about practice. There is an upper limit, like I think you can create 3 a day or something like that. You need to check. But then you can like iterate on it. You can improve your prompt. So it's all about like, the more you work, the better you become. It takes a few minutes and it'll just create a moving visual, which then you can use on your website if you want. Or you can put it out on your social media. Or you can email it in your newsletter. And it creates like 4 of these. You can choose the best you want. Sometimes I just spend time like looking at it like this so I can see all the motion. But I wanted to show you the artwork that got featured by, this was around the concept of basically what I wanted to show was indoctrination. So the whole idea was around that. And it got featured by MidJourney in their Video Explorer page, which was pretty cool. So it created 4 images. I chose the one that I wanted to like basically showcase and I just animated it. I gave it a very specific prompt and I used Grok to help me refine my prompt. So if you look at the prompt, it's very specific. Like it says how much, what should be the shape of the lips. It should be in perfect sync, everything. And I didn't write a word of it. What I did was I told Grok, I took this image, I put it into Grok, which is another chat bot, and I said, I want these to move in perfect sync. And Grok basically created the prompt for me, which I then took and put it back in here, and it created it. So this is how the different ways you can use chatbots, basically.
I think I had a related question here that came in from Sadiq, who said, so how would I create a 2-minute video from using my website's existing copy to create a fundraising appeal? What's the process? Am I going to go and get the system to start building out like a bit of a flow for what my video could be and identify my calls to action? And then where would I get that video actually created? What's a good flow for that?
So Gemini also has Google Vids. So if you are, by the way, Gemini is free for nonprofits. I think this is what we said in the last workshop as well, Eli, if you remember, like Gemini is free for nonprofits. You can actually subscribe if you are part of Google Workplace, then you get access to Google Vids and you can use Google Vids. For that, I want to show you. So yeah, that's one. Also, you can use your own images too. I want to show you this one as well. So Grok and MidJourney and all of these, even VO3 allows you to use your own images to create videos. So I was just, these are all, this is what I created in the morning, basically. And I wanted to show you like how Grok is very easy to create. Say for instance, I want to create an image of a drowning city that's completely underwater. And I can say, show Times Square. Just the impact of environment. And I just do this. What I like about Grok is that it optimizes my prompt. So I don't need to use a chat bot to optimize my prompt. It takes my thoughts, like my unstructured thoughts around what I wanted to show. I literally just put like some random words around what I wanted to show. And it optimized it and it created like so many variations of that, which I love. Look at this. And I can pick any of this. Say, for instance, I can maybe, I don't know which one to pick. That's the confusing part. Maybe let's just go with this one. And all I have to do is do this, make video. But I can also give very specific instructions if I want a video in a certain way.
I have a question. Amazing presentation.
Thank you.
And we as a small organization don't have that kind of budget to invest and just get professional help. So I really appreciate your help.
Grok is free, by the way. Grok is free.
Yeah, this is just, I have noted down and probably I will be using tech system help. Now, my thing is that I have a website.
Yeah.
And every time we give some graphic designer our pictures and a website and they create about 2-minute voice coming back. I give about 2 minutes video and they charge a lot, $3,000-$4,000 for that for graphic work. But the AI was not there. But now since I'm seeing your presentation and I have a website, will it work if I upload my past videos?
Yeah.
Plus my website and say, hey, our organization is about children and orphans and orphanages and their education. That's it. So you think the AI would be able to grab all the sources I'm providing?
I think what you need to do is work step by step with AI because AI gets confused when you give all the instructions in one go. So I would say that you hone your messaging first and your look and feel first. So just provide any reference screenshots you have of any other children's, say a nonprofit that you like, really, for instance.
Yeah. Suppose I have one project in Calcutta, India, which is in Murshidab orphans and a school. So can I just upload a picture?
You can upload a picture here. Can you see this? Just go here, upload a file. You can upload a file and you can animate that image. Or also you can create the vibe because you don't have to use actual imagery now. Like what you can do is, for instance, on GrantOrb 2, I'm going to create some videos of the outcome of when people are able to unlock grant funding, like what kind of world we can create. And I want to create that vibe. And so I'm going to be using either Grok or MidJourney to create that, show that outcome. So maybe you can show happy children running in the field.
Yeah.
Create a vibe.
Okay.
You don't have to use your actual imagery, but say if you want to use an actual image, you can even animate that. You can upload it. And you can, if you want, you have a very specific style in mind, then you can ask Grok to like create a prompt, discuss with the chatbot, say, I want this girl to be looking at the camera and talking, or I want this girl to be reading the book, whatever it is, basically, to create a very specific prompt for it and say, always say include the camera angles because we're not videographers, right? I don't know what camera angles should be. So I always ask, like whenever I'm creating videos, I always ask the chatbots to include the right camera angles for that scene. So it gives me the camera angles and stuff. And I put the whole prompt into like Grok or VO3, which is basically Gemini's video creation, or in MidJourney, and it creates the whole thing.
So this question is for Li. So Li, do you provide, because I am personally paying for ChatGPT 3.5, about $30 Canadian per month. Now you are saying that Gemini 3 is free for not-for-profit organizations,
I believe
right?
it's included if you are a subscriber to the Google Workspace subscription, which you can get from Google. So if you basically have the Google service where you can put your own email on your own domain name, then I believe one of the things that are included is basically the pro version of Gemini.
And that we have to go through TechSoup or?
So that used to go through TechSoup. Now that goes through, basically you do it directly through Google itself. So I'll share the link in the chat in just a moment.
Oh,
And so you
awesome.
could just follow through on that one.
And probably they will be needing some kind of certification or registration, I guess.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
very similar process to when it happened with TechSoup.
Oh, okay. Okay. And once I have that, so then I don't have to pay $30 per month for. And okay, so Deepa is I can give my website and just say, just 3 prompts. I will give my website. Here's my website. This is what we do. I use my website and create a
more impactful messaging.
Mhm,
Firstly, like call to action. Say our goal is to, what is your outcome? What is it that you're trying to achieve through your website? Are you trying to attract more donors, more volunteers?
Yeah.
Obviously,
So
it's more-
so what happened during the Ramadan? We create zakat money. That's
Yeah.
it. It's a very specific, very narrow for a very
then
specific.
mention that
Yeah.
very specific ask so that AI can have that context. It's like you're working with an intern or say a website designer, for instance. You're going to do this transfer knowledge anyways, right? Now you're transferring the knowledge to the AI. The AI should
Oh.
know what is it that you want, and the more specific you can be, the better it is. Otherwise, it'll come up with a more open-ended solution for you.
Okay, so you are saying garbage in, garbage out kind of stuff. If you give a quality data or the input or the sources, the better.
The prompt has to be specific, yeah. If
Prompt.
it will be, and then you can iterate. Say, first time you were not specific and it gave you something, as I said, like we did the TechSoup website redesign. I just said be more impactful, and it already had knowledge of TechSoup because TechSoup has been in operation for so many years. I didn't have to do much explaining about what TechSoup is.
And can I also select who I want narration to be in a soft spoken
you can
female
add all-
voice?
yeah, totally. Like for instance, I've created so many commercials, and every time I've tried to include different accents. Once I had a British accent,
Mhm.
once I had a French accent. You can mention the accent. You can mention male voice, female voice. Yeah,
Wow.
you can say, or if you want it in a different language, you could
Mhm.
probably do it in a different language with VO, which is Gemini's. So it's pretty powerful.
Can it be that if somebody is watching my video in West Bengal, can it be in a Bengali? And somebody is watching in Arabic, can it be in Arabic? Can it be segmented per your
You can-
geolocation?
So you can do that with HeyGen. You can create the same video in different languages. Like I've taken my same video and created in 3 different languages. But with VO3, when you try to create the same video, because it's generative AI, it doesn't always create the same video. It will always have a slight variation of it. So you can have 3 different languages spoken, but the videos won't look exactly the same because
Yeah, there will be variation.
there will be, that's the basic
Yeah.
nature of generative AI. It is non-deterministic.
So
Always have a bit of a variation.
which software you said or which?
HeyGen. I can
Hey-
put it in the chat.
HGN.
HeyGen.
Oh, okay, HeyGen. Oh, okay.
Yeah, HeyGen.
Got it.
Okay, perfect. Very impressive, and for small organizations like us can save a lot
Me
of
too.
money.
I'm a small startup, totally bootstrapping it, and we are totally powered by AI. Like it's
Especially,
completely AI
you know,
first.
somebody was asking us $10,000 to write a grant in Canada. I said, we can't afford
No, this is
$10,000.
this is people actually are winning grants. Like a small school won a grant of $25,000 using in Canada from Canada Post using GrantOrb, and they only spend $20.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is AI brings down the cost. It democratizes skills. So you don't
Okay.
need to be a music producer, video producer, image creator,
Yeah,
grant
you know,
writer.
like first time it will be difficult, but once you have then the going forward next year and the year after, you can have the variation because message is the same. The kids are the kids, regardless.
Exactly,
They
yeah.
are. So you can always have the different variations. Wow, I am impressed. Thank you, Deepa. It was so helpful and it was so informative. A lot of things can be done.
Thank you. Any other questions in the chat that I should pick up?
I don't see anything currently in the queue.
Okay. Then I think this is a wrap. This was, we barely touched upon music because I wanted to show how you can create music and infographics actually has shown is now like a preset. You just press the button and infographics get created.
Oh, and you're not allowed to escape after all. Actually, I've got a question coming in. It's saying, what method or process would you advise us to have to start writing better, more specific prompts? Like, how do you work through that?
Oh yeah, to write, actually it's all about practice. The more you start using these chatbots and you'll realize the mistakes you're making yourself, like why is it not giving you the output that you're expecting? So I write a lot of, for instance, articles, right? Like on my blog, I'm explaining AI, this and that. And these days, I just tell AI, I'll tell you my flow of writing because I'm not really writing a single word these days. I use Claude for writing. It's very impressive. I just tell my writing style, like this is going to be my writing style. And my writing style about AI is always very optimistic because it has really benefited me personally as a social entrepreneur. I feel like I'm not constrained by anything. So all my AI blog pieces are very optimistic. So I explain my writing style basically, and I explain these are the things that I want to cover, like basically give them bullet points of what I want to talk about. And the AI writes it, the first version, Claude will write it, and I'll read it, and I will be like, I do this, make these changes. So basically, I'm just chatting with the chat bot, and it's making those changes. I'll probably take the final version, put some of my edits onto it because maybe it was too fluffy. Or I can say things like, don't be too verbose, come to the point directly. So these are things you learn the more you use chatbots, like how do you really command them. Also get aggressive with them. And I wrote an article about it, like there's a scientific study around it that when you get aggressive with chatbots, like you threaten them, if you don't do this with me, I'll switch you over with Gemini or with some other chatbot. They actually get threatened and they do better work. So stop wasting time saying, thank you, please, may you do this. You're basically wasting compute energy. So don't even do that. Get to the point directly. Write me this and say it doesn't do a good job. Say, are you retired? Or you just say things like that. Like literally get angry. Literally.
No, you can't be rude.
It's very hard to get to that level of rudeness, but trust me, it works. It literally works, and threaten them. And this Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google, has actually said it in the podcast that they don't market this, but actually, when you threaten the chatbot, it does better job for you.
The robots are going to take over one day, and I want them to be on my side.
Update your resume.
So we've got a couple other questions came in here as well, so Sarah's actually curious a little bit about just like what the general thoughts from you around the environmental impact around the compute power needed for these AI services.
Yeah, what I've been asked these tough questions so many times. Like I was recently on Imagine Canada's podcast and Bruce asked me these very questions. He literally asked me all the questions that are top of the mind on change makers' mind all around the world. So in terms of environmental impact, the way I look at it is that every time we made massive technological leap, it has required energy consumption. We went from not having electricity to having electricity. We went from like a very agrarian agricultural society to industrialized society, and that required so much energy consumption. So we are not looking at what's happened in the past, but we are not concerned with AI because we are living it. We are in the present. We are seeing this massive transformation is happening in front of our eyes. And so we are looking at the energy consumption. And so we are like, wow, it's requiring so much energy. But every technological leap has required that amount of energy. And we are in the very early stages of AI transformation. Big companies like Gemini and all are already thinking of building like more solar powered ways of powering their data centers. If you listen to the talks given by the Gemini scientists and Grok scientists, AI scientists, they're already working on these solutions in terms of making it more solar powered. Like they want to put something I can share more reports, but it's already in the works. So it's happening in front of our eyes, and that's why we feel the pinch like right now. But the thing is that once these models get trained, the training of a model, basically when you train like a big model, say Gemini 3 has just come out, and it's a big model that they've trained, it costs around the cost of training a model is similar to 20 flights across the Atlantic back and forth. So that's a one-time cost. And so if we go for a climate event, say COP, wherever it took place. It COPs, it takes, I don't know how many times in a year it takes place. How many people are flying to that destination? Think of the cost of flying and the amount of fossil fuel you're burning right there. It's like and all the time that we save and all our energy that we save, our mental energy that we save by using AI, we can now maximize our output and our productivity and do more great stuff. I just think from that point of view, like all the constraints that I had in my life have vanished because now I'm using AI and I'm saving my own energy to do more great work.
One last question here from Renee, and then we will wrap it up. So Renee is asking, so how do you get the AI to include your organization's branding in the output? And even more tricky, is there a way to just default that to everyone in your team so everyone gets advantage of that?
Yeah, what you can do is you can put, say, if you already have branding is like your font, your color palette and all that stuff. And so for instance, even if you don't have your own branding right now, but you like somebody else's branding, you can reverse engineer that. You can put, say, for instance, I've done this. I've taken somebody else, a poster that I came across, like a physical poster. I've taken a picture of it, put it into Gemini and asked them to find me the font that they've used and the colors that they've used. And then based on this font and color, create something for me. So things like that. So what you can do is you can always reverse engineer things. You can take your own branding. If you already have one that exists, put it into Gemini and ask them to or you already know the color palette and stuff. You can mention that in your graphics that you're trying to create, for instance, using MidJourney. You can mention the color and the font. You can I'm not sure if it's the font it will adhere to, but it will adhere to the color. In MidJourney, as I said, they have an explore page where there are different style references, and I like that. A lot say you don't have any branding to begin with, but you want to pick up the colors. You can go through the style reference and see. It just gives you a very visual feel to different kinds of color combinations and color palettes that will go together. And then you can pick that and then recreate your own based on that. So it will always come up with those colors or those elements that are used in that style. So that way there's consistency across all your images.